Hi everyone, it's Miss Kim. So this week there's a holiday coming up. It's called Earth Day. So on Earth Day it's kind of nice to do something to help celebrate the earth and take care of it. So a lot of times we're really good about recycling, but did you know you can also reuse some of the things that you often put in the recycling bin? So today I'm going to show you two different things that you can do with stuff that you hopefully have around your house. So let's get started. You're going to want to find any empty boxes. So I just happened to have a cereal box that was going into our recycle bin this morning. And what I'm going to do, and this is for parents, this step, is cut around the front of it, or I guess you could do the back as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut around the front, and then we'll see what we're going to do with it, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to finish cutting out the front here. And then we're going to make a puzzle out of this. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this. This is a pretty big piece for a preschooler to manage in their hands by themselves. So what I would recommend is if you want your child to participate in the cutting part, that's great. But make it into smaller pieces to start with. So I'm just going to take this and cut it in half using my thumbs up. And it should be a manageable size. So cardboard is a great, this weight of cardboard is a great weight for practicing using scissors. It kind of naturally helps slow the kids down, and it's hard to tear it, but it can be kind of tiring. So it's also harder to be as accurate. So just keep that in mind. It might be if you want your child to work on the cutting part of it, that's awesome. But maybe take turns so they get a little bit of a break. We can do a my turn, your turn kind of thing. So what you're gonna do is, now that you have these pieces, you can, if you want your child to work on it, you can go ahead and maybe make a line for them to try to cut along, or a curved shape, curved line. So we're gonna go ahead and cut those out, and then you can make them into as many pieces as you want. I would say for the first couple times, don't do too many pieces, because just get a sense of how challenging it is for your child. You can always make it into more pieces, but to start with, maybe keep it to 8 pieces. And then as it becomes easy, you can increase the challenge by cutting the larger pieces into even smaller ones. So I'm gonna finish cutting this up, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now we have all the pieces. You're gonna wanna flip them over. Some of our kids are starting to learn letter identification, so it might be easier for them to put the pieces back together, but keep in mind that it's going to be harder for them to use those helps of the words and the letters to put the pieces together. So again, just if you need to help them find where they might go, absolutely go ahead and do that. Let's see if I can do this even. And then, once you have it all put back together, it's a great way to work on some of those literacy and math skills. You can count how many pieces in this box, how many pieces of cereal are on this spoon. Practice some of the letter identification. Talk about the shapes. Work on describing them using language like curves and straight, or which one's big, which one's little. So go ahead and add those concepts as well into the task. So go ahead and have some fun and make some puzzles. For another Earth Day craft you guys can do using things you have around your house, the boxes, it's kind of fun to make a picture using the materials from the boxes to build the picture. So for this, you're going to need scissors, and it's helpful to have something like glue or tape to put the pieces on, as well as a marker or crayons to help make the lines on the boxes. So there's a few different ways you can go about it. You can use the boxes and make the shapes or lines for your child to cut out and build the picture that they would like. But if that's too frustrating, you can also draw the picture together and then add pieces on top just using snipping strips. So I'm going to show you those 2 ways about going about this task. So just like we did with the cereal box, you're going to want to make the pieces from the boxes into child-friendly size pieces. So think of like index cards, like 4x6, not too much bigger than that, so that it's easier for them to manage and have some control over. So I am going to make this piece a little bit smaller, and I am going to make a flower. So on the back side of the box, I am going to use a marker and draw the circle. So parents, this could be a job for you. Go ahead and draw the circle around and stop. You can go ahead and thicken the line if you want to help your child kind of target where they're going to cut. And remember, when we use our scissors, kids, we're going to put our thumb in the little hole and our fingers in the big, and we're going to use our thumbs up, okay? Because we have to drive the paper around for our scissors to cut. So we're going to keep our thumbs up. I'm resting my forearms or my elbows, or you can rest your forearms on the table. It gives a little bit more stability to be able to have that accuracy. And I'm going to cut out my circle. And then glue it on. And then for the flower petals for this, it might be a little tricky to control the turns to make small pieces like petals. So you could just snip little pieces and add them on however you'd like to finish your flower. Another idea, as I mentioned, is go ahead and first draw the picture that you want to build. So again, in this case, I'll just go ahead and do a flower. Something as simple as this. And then you can provide strips. So parents would go ahead and do this cutting part. And cutting on cardboard is a great hand strengthening activity. So it actually helps promote our tool grasp when we're using crayons as well to work on our scissor skills. So we can go ahead and just create snips across. I use the kid size scissors. They might have to get a couple cuts to go across. If this is thicker than they want, just safely supervise so that they can cut them into smaller pieces. And then once you have your pieces cut, we can just glue. Remember, a dot does a lot. And put it on. And then glue and put it on. So that's another way that we can use the boxes. I would love to see some ideas of what you did to make puzzles or some of the pictures you did using some repurposed materials at your house. So go ahead and send those back to us. Bye everyone.